The clueless clowns over at ESPN are at it again, once more showing the world exactly why nobody takes them seriously. They completely discredited Aliyah Boston after her monster performance in Game 4. The very game that forced the series back to Vegas for a decisive win-or-go-home Game 5. It's embarrassing. Flat out embarrassing. We're going to break this down. We're going to laugh at them. And we're going to call it exactly what it is. Because while the Fever went toe-to-toe with the Aces and took them down to extend the series, the so-called experts at ESPN couldn't handle it. Instead of giving Boston and the Fever the respect they deserve, they launch into nonsense about foul discrepancies, bias, and other garbage. Andrea Carter isn't even hiding her agenda. China Mike, same thing. Elle Duncan? Please. The entire panel looks like one big clown car. This whole routine ESPN is running isn't fooling anybody. We see it. The jealousy, the bitterness, and the thinly veiled digs at Caitlin Clark, Fever fans, and anyone who doesn't fit their ESPN-approved narrative. It's nasty work. And it doesn't belong on national television. These are supposed to be professionals. This is supposed to be coverage, not cheerleading, not bias, not disrespect. Just cover the game, give credit where it's due, and move on. But no, not with this crew. They'd rather throw shade than acknowledge what the Fever just pulled off. And trust me, we're going to play back exactly what Aqua Mike and Andrea Carter said about Indiana's win. Because once you hear it, you'll understand exactly what I'm talking about.
Foul discrepancy was interesting. Full disclosure, it was a topic of conversation on this desk as well. Your reaction?
Well, it is interesting. And my favorite thing about a series, you can start to see trends, right? And if you were looking at the games earlier in this series, the free throw attempts, the discrepancy was 5, it was 6, it was 4. Those are the first 3 games. This game tonight, it was 23. The free throw attempt discrepancy was 23. Indiana shot 23 more free throws than the Aces. And when you talk about a favorable whistle, that play that we just showed, to me, it looked like Aliyah clamped first. And then Asia responded to that. But the initial foul to me was on Aliyah.
Yeah, the irony is that Aliyah Boston actually shot more free throws than the entire Aces squad. And mind you, respectfully, Aliyah commits the most fouls in the WNBA and the second most offensive fouls.
However, the foul discrepancy is not the only reason that they lost.
Don't let this overshadow the fact that Indiana's backcourt was phenomenal. Kelsey Mitchell was special, athletic, bouncy, tough shot making, 25 points, and just unfazed, unbothered. Look at these buckets. They were all in single or double coverage. And don't sleep also on their separator. Odyssey Sims, she was plus 17 and plus minus. 18 points, made big baskets in transition. The backcourt is the reason why they won the game.
Fever get their 4th win of the postseason as an underdog. That's the most by any team.
Okay, let me get this straight. Now, all of a sudden, we want to nitpick free throws? Now, all of a sudden, we care about foul discrepancies? Where was this energy when Breanna Stewart was living at the line, putting up 14 or 15 free throws in a playoff game? Where was all this outrage when Aya Wilson was cashing in 12 or 13 freebies a night? And mind you, she's mostly a jump shooter. Where was all this foul count nonsense then? Oh, right? Nowhere. But the second Aliyah Boston dominates and forces the series back to Vegas, suddenly Andrea Carter wants to downplay it. Suddenly Chiney wants to chime in. Suddenly the whole ESPN crew is in sync, saying, well, it was really the refs. Nah, cut it out. That's not coverage. That's disrespect. So now Boston can't just have a great game. Now it's, oh, she only looked that good because the refs handed it to her. That's what we're saying on national TV? Come on, man. Y'all can't hide it anymore. The bias is showing. And let's not forget, you've been ignoring bad officiating all season long. When Caitlin Clark was getting mauled game after game, when Cheryl Reeve and Becky Hammond were turning a blind eye, you sat there smiling, saying, that's the W. That's just how physical it is. You love that narrative then. But now that Boston got the best of Aya Wilson and the Fever knocked off the Aces in Game 4, you suddenly want to cry about officiating? That's the definition of disingenuous. And the way you opened that segment was nasty. You started with free throw talk and made that the conversation. Don't spin it back now, saying, oh no, it was really about the backcourt play. No, it wasn't. Elle Duncan literally had to cue y'all to switch gears because the producer was probably in her ear saying, this is going too far. Chiny tried to clean it up, but the damage was already done. You made it sound like the only reason Aliyah Boston went off was because the refs were cheating for her. Like the Fever didn't earn that win. Like Odyssey Sims, Kelsey Mitchell, and the rest of that squad didn't hoop their hearts out. No, you painted it as if the officials gift wrapped it. That's disrespectful. And you wouldn't be saying any of this if it wasn't Indiana, if it wasn't Aliyah Boston, if it wasn't the Fever linked to Caitlin Clark and her fan base. That's the only reason y'all are doing this. Period. We see it. We're not dumb. The hate is loud, and the agenda is obvious. ESPN can't even pretend to be unbiased anymore. Knock it off. Honestly, this is ridiculous. It's a complete misunderstanding of the game. They're taking things out of context, blowing up one storyline, and ignoring what actually happened. To me, it feels like 3 people were just handed clips, handed a script, and told to analyze. They clearly didn't watch the game. They have zero clue what actually happened, and they don't know how to break down basketball at all. And honestly, this kind of coverage is a disservice to the league. The WNBA's product on the court is incredible, but the league faces challenges off the court too. Having analysts like this only stunts its growth. They latch onto one single play, blow it up, and make it seem like it defined the entire game. It's almost laughable, because if Andrea really understood sports, even a little bit, she'd know the oldest cliche in the book. It's always the second player who gets caught. I'm not even saying I was the second in that particular moment, but it happens all the time. And this wasn't some career-ending or season-defining mistake. It was minor. Yet instead of focusing on the bigger picture, the coverage zeroed in on a single play involving Aliyah Wilson. No mention of similar plays against Aliyah. No acknowledgement that Aliyah Boston actually leads the league in fouls, much of that coming from questionable whistles we've all seen this season and last. That context is completely ignored. And this kind of shallow coverage is exactly what frustrates fans and makes the league look bad. It's lazy, it's superficial, and it's why real fans know better than to take these so-called analyses seriously. But let's break it down. I'll play a clip of Aliyah Wilson in a moment, but first let's look at what actually happened. Watch the foul line extended play. Aliyah Wilson shoves Lexi Hull to the ground. It's right in front of the referee, with an unobstructed view, a clear 2-hand push, and yet no whistle, nothing. And this is why I say some of these analysts have no true understanding of the game. They shouldn't even be doing this job. That play didn't result in free throws for either team, but it had real impact. The Aces still kept possession. Aliyah Wilson committed a foul that never went on the stat sheet, meaning she could keep playing aggressively without worrying about foul trouble. Meanwhile, if that foul had been called, Indiana might have been in the bonus later in the quarter, shooting free throws. These are the subtle moments that shift games, and most people overlook them because they don't understand the nuance. That, right there, is a special whistle in action, and it matters more than people realize.
But what made it successful for them to keep going to her tonight?
I don't know. You're going to have to ask Aliyah that question. I honestly, you just do your work. You got to do your work early and make it different. But Aliyah did say I have a special whistle. And she shot 13 today. Yeah. She said the last game I had a special whistle, which is cool. So we just got to play their better defense, make her look a little difficult, and kind of go from there.
All right, thank you all.
Yep.
But what?
Let's look at this for a second. Shout out to Allison for pulling these numbers. Look who's leading in free throws. Aliyah Wilson with 290. Second place, Kelsey Plum with 244. That's a huge gap. And if we go back, it's the same story every year. Last season, Aliyah had 275. The year before, 287. Even back in 2020, she was at the top. And way back in 2018, as a rookie, correct me if I'm wrong, she had 248. This isn't a one-off. Aliyah Wilson has always had a special whistle. Now, yes, she attacks the basket. But let's be honest, she takes plenty of fadeaways too. By all logic, she shouldn't be getting to the line this much. And yet, she does. That's the nuance that gets missed when people just glance at stats without actually understanding the game. So again, this is completely out of context. People are connecting two things that have nothing to do with each other. Correlation is not causation. Just because Aliyah Boston happened to shoot 13 free throws today doesn't mean Aliyah Wilson doesn't benefit from a special whistle. And you can see it clear as day. Look at the body language, the tone. Aliyah Wilson comes off like a spoiled brat who can't handle when things don't go her way. Honestly, it's annoying even talking about it. But let me say this. This might have been Aliyah Boston's best all-around game since Caitlin Clark went out. The reason she got to the line is simple. She was posting up, active in paint, and doing everything right. That's the context people keep ignoring. Shout out to Dutch for putting the comparison together. Aliyah led the league with 290 free throws. Aliyah Boston, a true post player who should be drawing plenty, had only 147. And it's not just regular season. Look at the postseason. 7 games each. Aliyah had 48 free throws. Aliyah Boston, only 23. In this game, she had 13. That means in the other 6 games combined, she had just 10. Ladies, step your game up. Because at this rate, even ESPN might have to admit they can't keep pushing this nonsense. Ratings are tanking. We need real analysts breaking down basketball with actual knowledge. Instead, they want to sit there and talk about the backcourt? Come on, you're exposed. Everyone sees it. You're just Caitlin Clark / Fever haters. And honestly, it's pathetic. I expected more from Andrea Carter, but nope. ESPN has been reduced to nothing but clickbait and rage bait. Nobody has taken their commentators seriously in over a decade. And let's be real, most of Aliyah Boston's fouls came in the fourth quarter when her team was already down. She plays a physical, bang-bang post-game. Of course the aces struggled to defend her. Of course fouls piled up. That's basketball. See what I'm saying? The first mistake is even taking these clowns seriously. Fans see it. The audience knows exactly what's going on. It's nasty work from ESPN. You're on a major network, and this is disrespectful to the players and the fans. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you want more of this. And don't miss Game 5 on Tuesday night in Vegas. It's win or go home.